Hello and welcome guys. Hope you all are doing great. In this video, we are going to learn about Strapi by building a blog application using React as a frontend and Strapi as a backend. So what is Strapi? Basically, Strapi is a headless CMS which provides us with API development tools. If you ever built an API before, you know how tedious it can get. For example, I am a JavaScript developer. For API development, I always had to set up Express, set up authentication, creating schemas for database and setting it up, then handling private and public routes. It's fun, I agree, but it's really tedious and takes a lot of time. And what I love about Strapi is that it provides all those things and more out of the box. Okay, so let's go ahead and install Strapi and take a look at its backend. So let's go ahead and check out the documentation for installation details. So let's click on get started here. And let's navigate to installation. And we want to install Strapi using command line interface. So we will select CLI here. Okay, cool. So in step 1, as mentioned, make sure that you have proper versions installed for Node.js as well as NPM. Scroll a little down. Okay, step 2, create a new project. So as you can see, we can create Strapi project using yarn as well as NPM. So I already have NPM installed on my machine, so I will be using npx method to create our project. But if you want to use yarn, that's fine. Okay, you might have noticed this quick start flag here. Let's check what it is. So Strapi supports multiple databases like SQLite, PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB and MongoDB. Whenever we use quick start flag here, it will by default use SQLite for our database. So if you create a project without quick start flag, Strapi CLI will let you choose the database of your own choice. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So in step 3, we can see how to start our project in development environment. We can use npm run develop command to start our project in development environment. So let me just fire up my terminal now. And I will cd into desktop and create a new folder for our project. And I will name it Strapi blog. Strapi blog. You can have a name of your own choice. Okay, so let's cd into the folder we just created. Cd Strapi blog. And as I said earlier, we are going to use React as our front end. So I will have 2 separate folders here, one for our Strapi app and another for our React app. So let me just do it now. So let's create Strapi app folder, Strapi app, and let's create Strapi React. So Strapi app will be for our Strapi application and Strapi React will be for our React application. Cool. So let's cd into Strapi app. Oh, sorry. Okay. So let's run our Strapi installation command, which is npx create Strapi app, and I want to install it in our current folder. So I will use dot here and our quick start flag. Okay, cool. So the installation is started and it will take few minutes. So I will just pause the recording and come back when it's finished. So guys, our installation process is completed and we are automatically redirected to this admin registration page. So we can just go ahead and create an admin account here. So let me just fill out these details quickly. I will just use my name as a username. Password, I will just enter my password here. Okay, and I will just use my email ID, work email ID here. Okay, and so that's it. These are the bare minimum details we require for creating an admin account. So let's click on ready to start. Okay, now we are redirected to our Strapi backend. Just take a quick look at each and every section here. So mainly our dashboard is segmented in three sections: collection types, plugins, and general. So let's go and see what collection types is. As you can see, in collection type, the user collection is provided by Strapi, using which we can create and manage users for our Strapi app and also modify and extend their user permissions. Strapi allows us to create different types of content, and collection is one of them. So let me just quickly show you how we can create different content types. Let's just navigate to content types builder, which is a Strapi plugin. We will get to plugins in a minute. Okay, so as you can see in content types builder, we have three different types of content available. First one is collection types, second one is single type, and third one is component. So let's see what collection types is. So in collection type, you can see we already have three collections here: permission, role, user. But all these collections are interrelated and are linked with relationship field, which is also provided by Strapi. So in collection, as the name suggests, you can create and store content which repeats. For example, like articles, categories, users, or any other type of collection you can think of. In single type, you can only manage content that will have only one instance. For example, a static page, a footer, or a menu. Alright, so next is component. So components are nothing but a group of fields that you can repeat or reuse, and a component is shared across all types and it will be accessible everywhere. For example, you can create a component here and the same component can be used in single type as well as the collection type. Component so component is nothing but a reusable set of fields we can use in different types of contents. Alright, hope that makes sense. Alright, so let's create our blog and category collections and we will also link them together. Click on create a new collection type here. Okay, so we will have to provide a name for our collection as well as the UID field here. It will be automatically generated based on this, and this UID field is used to create our API endpoints or API routes for that matter. Our API routes. This UID field here is also used for creating our API routes. So let's just give it a name of blogs, and you can see that the UID is automatically generated here. Okay, and let's click on continue. So as you can see, we have multiple fields available here, and as we are building a blog, we need three primary fields. First is text field for our title, rich text field for our blog content, and a media field for our blog featured image. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our first field for our title, and in here you can see name for the field, and it should not have any spaces in it. Also, you can see that there are two different types of text field types here. One is short and another one is long. So for titles and short text elements, we should always use short text as it is also included in the search index, meaning we can do an exact search on a short text type. Whereas the long text is for descriptions and large content body, and it doesn't have exact search enabled on this. But it doesn't matter, we can always create our own search functionality on our front end. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out what all advanced settings we have here. So we can set a default value for our title using default value field here. So next we can also write our own regular expressions to create some operations on our string or to just add input validation. And we can set this field as a private field in case we don't want the data for this field to be displayed in our API response. Okay, we want this data, so I will just uncheck this. We can also make this field required where the entry will not be created if the field is empty. Okay, and next is unique field. We can make this field unique, meaning we cannot create a new entry if there is an existing entry with the same ID available in the database. All right, and the next is maximum length and minimum length. So we can set maximum and minimum length for our title text characters. All right, so hope that makes sense. All right, so let's go back to our base settings here and give it a name of blog title, and it should be short text type. And in advanced setting, we should also select the unique field because we need this field to be unique. Okay, that's it. Click on finish now. Okay, that's great. So now you can see that the blog title field is available in our blogs. So let's go ahead and create our another two fields. So now we want to create a field for our blog content. So let's select rich text here and just give it a name blog content. Okay, and click on finish. Okay, you can see that the blog content is already added here. So let's go ahead and add another field. Now we need a field for our blog image. So let's click on media, give it a name featured image, featured image. Okay, and you can see that we have two types available here, multiple media and single media. In our case, we just need one featured image for our blog. So we will select single here. But in case you are building an e-commerce product page and you want to create a product image gallery, in that case, you will have to select multiple media field here. So let's take a look at advanced settings here. So yeah, these are the same private, required field, unique field. But we have an additional setting here. We can select what type of file should be accepted. In our case, we just need images, so we will deselect videos and files. All right, so that's it. So let's click on finish and let's click on save here. All right, it's saved now. So now we need to create another collection type for our categories. So let's go ahead and create that. Create a new collection type. Give it a name of categories. Continue. And we will need one text field for our category name. Category name. And it will be a short text type. And in advanced setting, it will be a unique one. Okay, and let's click on finish here. All right, we have our category name here, and also we are going to need one more field here. Let's click on add another field, and we are going to need a relationship field here so that we can connect our blogs and categories. So let's click on relationship here. All right, so you can see that we have multiple connection types, multiple connections available here, like 0 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to many, many to 1. But what we need is this many to many. So like many categories will have many blogs and many blogs will have many categories. I hope that makes sense. So let's click on this many to many where it says categories has and belongs to many blogs, and it's vice versa. All right, so click on finish here and click on save. All right, so we have created our collection types for blogs as well as categories, and we have also successfully created a relationship between them so that our blogs will have categories and our categories will have blogs. So let's go ahead and create a category and click on add new categories. I will just give it a name of food and I will save it. Let's go to blogs here and click on add new blogs. Let's give it a title of hello world, and blog content should be anything like just so this is content. We'll change this later, no issues. This is content, and we can also add an image here. So let's just quickly search for food. let's use this image. It doesn't matter for now, we will change this later. You can just drag and drop here, so that is not an issue. Upload one asset to the library. Alright, so finish. We have added our title, the blog content, and featured image, and we also have access to our food category which we just created. Okay, and just save it. Alright, so we have our blog post which is linked to our categories. Alright, so to access this, we need to see what routes are available and the permissions upon them. So now we have successfully created our blogs and category collections, and by default we cannot access any of them, and if we try to access it we will get a 403 forbidden error. So we need to change permissions on our routes to access them, and to do that let's navigate to roles and permissions here, and you can see we have two default roles available here: authenticated and public. We can also create another role here, but for our project these two roles are sufficient. So let's go inside public, and here we can see our blogs as well as categories which we created in our collection types, and here we can select what needs to be public. So we will need count, and we will need find, and we will also need find one. So these three will be public, where find will list all the blogs on this route, and we will also need find one to select and get data from any individual blog post by accessing this route, where id will be the url parameter we will provide for the specific blog. Alright, and we will do the same with categories here: count, find, and find one. Count will just return the number of blog posts or number of categories we have. Okay, so let's save this. So let's go ahead and try to access our blogs route, which will be on localhost/blogs, and the port number, of course. Alright, so we have this beautiful response available for us now, and you can see that we have our image here, our blog title, our blog content, created and updated date, and category name. All the fields we created and all the fields we filled are here for us now. We can also go ahead and check out our categories. Okay, so we have category name, category id, and the blogs in it. Okay, so I have also added few blogs and few categories here so that we can have some data to play around. Okay, so now we just have to create a React application and use the data which Strapi is providing us on these routes. Okay, so let me open my terminal. iTerm. Okay, it's already running here. Control N for new instance, and I have already created a directory for our React application. So I will just navigate to it: cd desktop, cd Strapi blog. So as you can see that we have our Strapi application installed in this Strapi app folder, and now we are going to install our React application in Strapi React folder. So I will just cd into it: cd Strapi React. Alright, for using React we are going to use create React application, which will provide us with a boilerplate React application. So to create a React application we just have to say npx create React app, and to install in the same directory we are going to use dot. Okay, let me just use sudo Alright, the React application is installing now. Alright, so our React application is installed here, and to start it we just have to say npm start. So it's already started, so we just have to navigate to localhost colon 3000. Alright, so you can see that our React application is running, and so let's go ahead and open our directory. So it's Strapi React here, and open. Alright, so whatever you are seeing here, all this logo and all this text and everything, so everything is located in here, in source and app.js. Everything is coming from here. Okay, so let's just remove this. We don't need this. We don't even need this. Okay, just for now, let's say hello world. Okay, it's working. And let's remove this import. All right, and okay, let's convert this into an arrow function. Const tab. Okay, so yes, it's still working. All right, so let me just say npm start. Okay, it is starting. Okay, it is working, and now we are using integrated terminal. All right, so for this project we will need few npm packages. So let's go ahead and install them. So let's say npm install. The first package which we will need is isomorphic fetch. The second one is React DOM, and the third one is React Router DOM. Okay, let's enter. It will take few minutes. Alright, the packages are installed here. So let's go ahead and check. So we have isomorphic fetch, React DOM, React Router DOM. Alright, perfect. That's it. So for this project, I will be using a simple theme from Bootswatch because they provide good starter themes. So let's go to our browser and visit Bootswatch. Let's scroll down, and which one is good here? Alright, this looks clean. Let's use this. Simplex. Okay, so let's use this. So we just need to grab this CSS file here and go back to our browser, and in public directory navigate to index.html file, open this file. Okay, and let's add our style sheet here. Link rel equals to style sheet. Oh shit, style sheet href. Oh, we have to start our application. Npm start. Alright, so we have used this. So let's go ahead and create a navigation bar. So let's go into the source folder and create a new folder here and name it components. And the first component which we need is a navigation bar. So let's name it navbar.js. So let's create our component here. So let me import React from React. Okay, and so we will just create a simple functional component. So let's say const navbar and let's export it first because I always forget this. Export default and navbar. All right, so let me just return. Okay, cool. So we will just create our simple navigation here. So let's create a div. And inside that, let's create a navigation and give it a class. All right, the navigations are simple, so I will just type them out. Navbar.expand -lg navbar-dark bg-dark. Okay, close it, and let's create a tag here. Class name navbar-brand, and let's give it a name of Strapi blog. All right, so I think the component is ready. So let me just import our navbar. Import navbar from its components. Okay, navbar, that's it. Okay, so now we can use navbar. All right, let's remove this hello world, we don't need this. So our navigation bar is ready here. All right, go back to the code. So now let's go ahead and create one more directory in our components folder here and name it blogs, sorry. And so first of all, we will focus on creating a page where all the blogs are listed. So let me just create a component here and I will name it blog list.js. And so let me import React from React, and this will be a class based component. So let's do class blog list extends React dot component, and in here we will surrender return and let's, for now let's just say blog list. Okay, and let's export this first because I don't want to miss this. Export default blog list. All right, so this component is ready. Let's just import it in our app.js. Import blog list from sorry, component slash blog slash blog list. Okay, and let's add this here, blog list. Okay, let's see if that's working. Cool, it's working. So let's go back to our blog list component here. So first of all, what we will need is a state. Let's create an empty state here first. Let me create a constructor. Let's call super, and let's say this dot state equals to blogs, and for now we will just keep it as an empty array. Okay, let's save this. So in this component we are using component will mount, which is a React lifecycle method. So let's say component will mount, and we are going to need our isomorphic fetch because we are going to fetch data from our blogs here. Okay, so let's go back here and import our isomorphic fetch. Import fetch from isomorphic fetch. Cool. Okay, so let's say fetch, and let's say dot then we are going to use promises here. So let's go back and grab this URL and add it to our fetch, and in here let's have another function, response. We want response, and let's create a condition. If the response status is 400, we want to throw an error, else we will just return our response. If response dot status is equal to 400, throw new error. What should it be? Let's say bad response from server. Okay, else we will just return our response dot JSON. We will just return our response in JSON. Okay, we will have another promise here. Let's say then, and we will grab logs, and here we will set our state and add all the blogs in this empty array. This dot set state, let's say blogs to blogs. All right. Oh, I think the error is because I have not wrapped this with curly brackets. Let me just do that. Okay, it's working now. Cool. So you might be thinking that in ES6 we don't need to use these two times, we can just say blogs. But my process is I will just create an application first, and once that is done, once I have something, and once that is done, I will then sanitize it and make few modifications into that. With this application we are going to do the same. Okay, so we have this. All right, so let's go back here. So in here we will just map onto our blogs here, because this is an array. We have access to array methods and we are going to use map. So we will just map onto our blogs here. So let's do it here. This.state.blogs, and we want to map onto it. So let's say map. Okay, and in here we need another function. So let's create it, and so in here we need to pass all the data we require from our blogs state here. Okay, so let's go back to our API here, and we need to grab ID, block title and block content. So let's do that first. Let's say ID, block title, block content. Okay, and also I think we are going to need featured image. Yes, we will need this featured image, and our categories, let's grab that as well. All right, so let's just say h1, and in here let's say block title. So we have an error here. Okay, oh, all right, so it should be this. Okay, and block title. Okay, let's check it out. All right, so you can see that our block titles are coming up here, so that's cool. But we are not going to use it like this. We are going to create another component here, and so let's do that. So let me just remove this and create a div here. I will give it a class name of container, first name container. Okay, all right, so inside this container I will also create a row, div dash class name row. Okay, and here we will create our another component. So let me just go back to components, blogs. Okay, in blogs I will create another one, and let me just name this blog list item.js. Okay, all right, so in here let's do the same. Let's say import react from react, sorry, react from react. All right, let's say import, we don't need to import anything else now, and let's create our functional component. Let's say const blog list item equals to and in here we will just use return. Okay, and let's export this, export default blog list item. All right, so let's go back to our blog list here, and let's import it. Import blog list item from components. Okay, I will have to go back one more directory, blog slash blog list item. All right, and let me and let me add our component here. Let's say ignore this error for now. Blog list item slash I. Okay, so close it. All right, so now in here we have to pass all this data, so let's do that first. Okay, let's say blog title equals to blog title. Okay, let's say blog content equals to blog content. All right, and let's do the same for other two. Let's say featured image equals to featured image. So in ES6 you don't have to use this, you just have to say blog content, because blog content here and here both are same, but we are not going to sanitize this now, we'll do it later. So let's say categories equal to, it is equals to categories. Okay, all right, we also have to add a key here. Let's say key equals to id, because it should be unique. All right, so I think we are done here. We have passed all the data. So let's go back to blog list item, and in here let me just first create something here. So in here just create a div for now, so that this error will go away. Let's import all the data here as props. It was id. Let me just go back, copy this entire thing. All right, okay, so let's give this a name. We want this to be full width, so let's give this a name, class name of call 12. These are all bootstrap classes, I'm not making them up. Okay, and so we are going to use bootstrap card for displaying our blog list items. So let's do that. Let's get another div here, and let's give a class name of card border secondary and mb3. Okay, because categories is also an array. Here you can see that category is also an array, so we will have to map through all of them. So let's do this here. Okay, so let's say const category equals to categories dot map, create arrow function inside here, and let's say category, and let's return category dot, what is the name field here? It's category name. Okay, let's copy that, and let's say category name. All right, so that's it. Okay, so inside our card, sorry, inside our card, let's create another div, give it a name of class name equals to card header, and in this card header we will display our category. So let's say category. Okay, and below this let's create another div, and that will be for our card body. All this card header and card body, all these are bootstrap classes. We can go ahead and check them out. Card body, sorry, card body and in here we want our featured image. Okay, so let's say image, let's give a width of 100% for now, and in source let's say, okay, let me check the JSON object first. So as you can see in our featured object here, the URL is in here. Here it is. Here's the URL. Okay, but we don't have our main domain or main URL appended here, so we will have to do that manually. So let's go back and let me create this backticks, and let's add our Strapi URL here, which is, yeah, it's localhost colon 1337, and let's add our featured variable here. So it's featured image. Let's copy this. So it's featured image dot formats. Let me just check this once. It's featured image dot formats and dot medium. Let's use medium for our blog item and URL. Okay, so it's featured formats dot medium. Medium is size here. Okay, medium URL. All right, so it's done. Okay, we have an error. We are not close this. All right, so let's go back and check out our application. So as you can see that we have our category name and our images being displayed here. That's great. So let's go back and let's do the same thing for our title. Below the image I will create an h4. So let's say h4. Let me give it a class name of card title. Sorry, class name of card title. Card title. Okay, and in here I will just do block title. All right, so let's go back and have a look here. So we have our category, we have our image as well as our block title. It is not looking great, but that is not the scope of this project. We are just trying this Strapi out with React. That's it. Okay, let's go back. So we have a page where all the blogs will be listed, but now we also want to create a single blog page. Let's go back to our components because we will create another component now, and let's create a new file. Okay, no, let's create a new file into blog folder and give it a name of single blog.js. Okay, and let's do the same here. Let's import React from React. So we will need to use state here, so we are going to use class based components here. So let's say class single blog extends react.component. All right, and let's say render, and in here let's say return. All right, our component is ready. We just need to export this now. Export default single blog. All right, that's it. Okay, so in here we will have to do the same thing. We will have to create our constructor. So let's do that here. Constructor, let's call super, and let's create our state. this dot state equals to, and we will need a single block. It will be an empty array. So this time let's keep our blog image separate. So let's say blog image. I'm just doing this because in next few lectures I'm going to use a CDN for this. So again I will have to use a lifecycle method, but this time I will use a component did mount. A component did mount. Alright. I think we will also need to import our isomorphic fetch here. So let's say import fetch, import fetch from isomorphic fetch. Let's do the same thing. In fact, I will just go ahead and copy from our blog list component. All right. Okay. So we need to take care of few more things here now. As you know that our single blog posts are available at blogs / the specific ID of that blog post. So we need to get this ID dynamically here. So for that we are going to use browser router. Okay, so let me set up that first. So let's go back to app.js here and let's import browser router as a router. Okay, and we will also need switch and route from our React router DOM. Alright, so we will get few error here, just ignore them for now. So in here we need to create some sort of routing, so let's do that. So here, so let's wrap our application with router. Okay, and below this, below our navbar, let's create a switch. So let's create our routes here. So for our home page we need to render this blog list component. So to do that, let's say route, and we need exact here, exact, and path will be the location. So we need to render blog list on our root. Okay, so and in component let's say blog list. Okay, and let's delete this for now, we don't need this. Cool. Okay, so next what we have to do is we need to create a route for our single blog post. So let's do that here. So let's say route exact, and here in path let's say single. We will append this to our route, let's say single, and we can pass URL parameters to our components using this route. So let's say post ID. This post ID will be a URL parameter, and in our case it will be the blog post ID. With this we can access our blogs like this. For example, if we say 1, we will have the access to this particular blog. If we say 2, we will have access to this blog. Okay, all right, so let's say render, render, and we will pass props to our component. So let's do props, arrow function here. Let me close this, I will forget it later. All right. So in here we will add our single blog post. single blog, and I think it's automatically added here because I used a shortcode. Alright, so inside this we will pass these props. So let's just use a spread method. So we are using spread method here. So whatever the props we have, we will just pass all of them to our single blog component. Okay, so we are done here. So let's go back to our single blog. So we will need to append the post ID here. So let's just remove this and add backticks. Okay, and we have access to the props now, to all the props which are coming from here, from this router. In these props we have access to the parameters as well, this parameter which we are passing here. So let's just do this dot props dot match dot params dot post id. Everything we have here, everything is coming from these props. If you want to check this, you can just console log it or just go to the React Router DOM documentation to learn more about this. Alright, so we have done this. Okay, and this should be the same thing. Even this should be same. In here we don't need to call blogs, it should be blog, and it should be single blog. Okay, we will also need to set another state here. So let's just paste it and say blog image blog dot featured dot url. You don't have to use this because I want to implement some CDN or something similar to S3. That's why I am keeping this separate. But if you want, you can just get the blog image URL from here, from the single blog array itself. Alright, so let's go to our render. Before that, let's destructure first. So let's pull out all the data from our single blog array. So let's say const equals to this dot state dot single blog. So let's see what all the data we have. Alright, we have blog data. Okay, it's same. Let's copy this id, sorry, blog title, blog content, and what else we have here? Blog content. I think we also need categories. Alright, I think that's it. That's what we need for our single blog. So in here, let me just create a div. Let me just give it a class name of Jumbotron. It is also a bootstrap class, nothing fancy here. Jumbotron. Okay, and in here I will create a h1 and I will give it a name of class name equals to display 8. If you're wondering from where I'm getting this data, let me just show it to you. So in this theme, you can see that you have different types of components available. Okay, so I'm just using this Jumbotron here. You can see that this is the same code which we are writing. Okay, alright, so in here let's say blog title, We have an error. All right, this is one issue here. Okay. Okay, we have added a block title. Let's do image in source. Let's add backticks and our local host URL for Strapi 1337 and append our blog image URL. So for now I will just go ahead and use this blog image. So let me just do this dot state dot blog image, and after that I will just create a paragraph tag here, give it a class name of lead. Okay, and let me just add block content here. All right, so let's go back and let's try single/1. Okay, we have some kind of error, cannot read property of URL. Okay, let me just go back. Okay, here is some issue. It's featured image and I have wrote featured. That was a silly mistake. Okay, let's go back and okay, as you can see that this is working. Our image is not loading. Why is that? Oh, what wrong am I doing here? This dot state dot blog image. Oh, we don't need this. Okay, cool. Alright, so our single block, it is not looking pretty, but yeah, it's working, and that's the main thing. So now what we need to do is, let's go back here. So we need to create a button here so that users can click on it and visit our single blog post. So let's do that. Okay, so let's go back to our blog list item here and let's do it here. Let's add an anchor tag and give it a class name of button. Button primary and button, we need a large button large. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just see if it's working. The button is working fine. It isn't. Learn more. Okay, it's working. It's not pretty, but oh, it's fine. All right, so let's go back here. So we don't want to use an anchor tag here because whenever we use anchor tags, the state is lost and we want to preserve it. So in that case, we are going to use link from our React router DOM. So let's just go here and import link from React router DOM. Okay, so instead of anchor tag, let's say link. Okay, and let's remove this href. We don't need this. Let's say 2, and in here let's add our backticks. Let's say single, and in here pass in the ID. We already have ID here, so let's pass that here. All right, so that's great. So let's try if it's working or not. So let's click on learn more. Okay, we are getting some sort of error here, so let's go back to our code. What is the error? ID is not getting passed properly. We already have ID. Let's check this. Everything looks fine to me. What's not working? Oh, okay. So we have passed id in our key, but we have never passed it to our blog list item component. Let's do that. id, let me copy this, let me go here. Okay, we don't need to console log this now. I was just checking the issue before, and let's do the same here. Hopefully this should work now. Let's go back and let's create on learn more. Cool, that is working. Cool, that is also working. All right then. All right, it is working now. So we are done for now. We have covered a lot here. So what we have done is we have created a single blog post page here using this single blog component, as well as a all blog post page here using blog list component. That's it for this video. So we are going to cover many things in this series. So basically there will be things like category navigation. Here we will have a comment box below here, and we can also do some sort of guest posting where user can submit blog post from front end. We have a lot of ground to cover, so most probably we will create 2 to 3 more videos in this series where we will sanitize our code as well as create new components